we need to talk about the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, because it's not just about Trump flexing muscles and CBS punishing Stephen for calling it a bribe. You probably know the story already. There are a dozen videos about the fact that Stephen Colbert announced the cancellation, citing that CBS told him it was about financial considerations, but it just happened to come 2 days after Colbert called the Trump settlement with CBS over the Kamala Harris 60 Minutes. This thing is wild and hairy, and I could go into. I mean, I'd need to create a documentary to talk about everything that's happening here, but basically the the edited Kamala Harris interview from the campaign. Trump sued CBS over it, saying it could have affected the election. I don't know how, because Trump won. So anyway, so Trump sued it. CBS settled because of the fact that I shouldn't say because of, but it just so happens that Paramount, CBS's parent company, has business before the Federal Communications Commission, which is part of the executive branch, i.e., Trump's government. So again, there are a dozen videos debating whether or not this is political. I'm saying it is. Let's just assume that it is. So immediately the next morning, because Trump can't stay up that late, immediately the next morning, Trump truthed on his Truth Social. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next, has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. Now, I'm curious. I don't know necessarily that he means the Tonight Show, because as far as I know, I don't watch Fallon. I've never really found Fallon all that funny, and I think I have sort of a subconscious resentment about what happened with Conan. But I think he probably means Seth Meyers, because Seth Meyers famously mocked Trump at like the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, which they say was one of the impetuses, and also Obama's roast of Trump back then. One of the things that really got Trump's hair up to actually run for president. So anyway, so I don't believe it's just about ratings. Now, granted, linear TV, late night TV, is in a tough position. It is losing money. Excuse me. I'm going to leave that in. I burped. They say that they like authenticity on YouTube, and that burp, that was from the heart. That was authentic. So anyway, I cut out a little vamping after my burp because it was getting boring. So anyway, linear TV is in a tough spot. People just aren't, and I'm part of the problem. I don't watch Colbert at 11:30 at night. I watch it. I watch the clips. I watch the Colbert clips. I watch the Seth Meyers clips, and I watch the Kimmel clips. I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they come out like 2 or 3 hours before the show actually airs. So it actually works out really good. So and Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon both expressed their support, and the thing we need to understand, this is not the story that we're going to dwell on, because like I said, everybody else is talking about it. There are other things that we need to talk about, because it's all kind of connected. Because this is how fascism happens. When you silence voices that make us laugh, that make us question, that make us think critically, when you bring things to the attention, it stops being funny to the people in power. And that's exactly what's happening here. Some other things that are going on. There's a pattern of suppression. This isn't just a one-off incident. Public media is being defunded. There's this rescission bill that passed, I want to say the same day. Congress passed a rescission bill that cuts $1.1 billion from NPR and PBS, which places a lot of, especially rural stations, and apparently I need to look into this a little bit more, but apparently also emergency broadcast systems. But NPR and PBS, they are important. I'll be honest, I can't speak a lot to NPR. I'm not a radio listener. I never have been. But PBS means a lot to me. First off, I love documentaries. I watched last year I watched the Ben Franklin documentary. I've watched tons of I used to be a big Antiques Roadshow fan. And so PBS means a lot to me. And as a kid, it meant the world to me, because I lived on an army base in Germany, in Heidelberg, Germany, till I was 5 years old. And the only American TV I had was Sesame Street. and it was broadcast in both German and English. And I would say I was actually a pretty good elementary student when we came back to the States, because of the fact that I was watching Sesame Street, and I was learning all about how, Sammy the Snake starts with S and C is for cookie, and even that it's not easy being green. But Sesame Street means a lot to me, and same with Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers. Now I'm a big ugly dude. But I've got a soft, fluffy marshmallow core. I love Mr. Rogers' message of kindness, of acceptance. I think he broke down barriers. I think he learned. I think as a Christian man, he evolved over time, which was wonderful. And we need those voices to keep going. And that's not woke. That's not DEI. That's being a good person. That's living in today's world. Excuse me. And he's halting funds to do this. At the same time, during the same week, the Supreme Court, the corrupt, stolen, and rogue Supreme Court, basically upheld Trump's decision to lay off 50% of the Department of Education. And also, Trump further withheld billions of dollars in funds. I think it was like $20 billion in funds to the states that was already allocated, that states depend on for their programs. And the states are suing, and basically he's dismantling everything that creates an informed society. And that's fascism. That makes people docile. That makes them believe things that without questioning them. That's some 1984 level bullshit there. You don't need to burn books to control people. By the way, they are doing that. You just need to cancel people like Colbert. You just need to stop funding things like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood and Don Quixote and whatever the hell's on NPR. I'm sorry, I do not know, but I'm sure it's pretty good. So and it's not just one comedian, and we have to look out for what's going to be next, and it's gonna be tough because I know that people we're falling more and more into our silo. And the thing about late night back in the day was we don't really have this anymore in America or the world anymore. Was that at 11:30 at night, everybody was watching, in like the 70s and 80s and I guess the 60s too. Everybody was watching the same thing at 11:30 at night. They were all watching Johnny Carson back in the day because of the fact that it was the only thing on. And they would talk about it the next day, and they'd fall asleep to it because it was on late. And we all had that sort of shared ritual. And Johnny's comedy, now I think that Johnny, I know him personally, so I get to call him Johnny. I think he leaned a little bit right. But Johnny's comedy was really gentle as far as the as far as politics went. I mean, he would lay into the current stories of the day, and when Watergate was bad, he did not pull punches. But he didn't really have a particular vendetta, as far as I know, against any particular politician overtly. I'm sure there was something subtle going on, but we don't have that anymore. Now we have people fall asleep scrolling through TikTok, scrolling through Twitter's, looking at YouTube. So I think linear TV, appointment viewing is obviously part of the problem. Now, it's not dead. I still think that there's room for it. And I think that as much as we love our TikTok influencers and our streamers and whatnot, there is something really nice about a professional comedian entertaining us late at night. And I hope that these shows and these formats sort of evolve, maybe to be something more interactive. Twitch streamers don't stream on demand. They stream on a schedule. So appointment viewing is very much still happening, and obviously sports is still happening. So we can still have that, and I hope that we have late night going into the future, because I think it is important. I think that comedians are important to make us think, and I really hope that he recommended Greg Gutfeld, who was terrible. And I'm sure he likes Greg Gutfeld because Greg Gutfeld does the same thing of making fun of disabled people, old people, fat people, minorities, gay people, and ugly babies and that kind of thing. So I just want to wrap up and say that this is not unimportant. Okay, I know there's a lot going on in the world. I mean, obviously the thing I haven't talked about yet, and I will soon, is Jeffrey Epstein. That's going on. That's big. And there's also alligator Alcatraz that was all over the news last week, and we don't know where Kristi Noem is. And I hope you know where your dog is, because that's bad news right there. And what else? There's still people going to El Salvador, and the thing is, and there's, and Israel is. I don't even want to pull up the headlines. I know that. There's so much going on in Israel. I know that they did bombings this week, and there's bad news there. And there's so much going on that it's hard to keep track of it. But this is important, because this is where our government starts to fall. This is where our society starts to fall apart and starts to accept fascism, and we cannot do that. So we have to stay aware of it. We have to be smarter than it. We have to keep seeking out both. I'm a big fan of mainstream now, and I can criticize them a lot. I feel that I said that I love Seth Meyers. I feel that both Seth Meyers, Colbert, and Kimmel were probably a little bit too forgiving of Biden, because of the fact that they were just so relieved to have him rather than Trump for 4 years. I think they were a little bit too much in the pocket. But I can live with that, because of the fact that we have plenty of other alternative voices out here on YouTube, talking to make us really think about the more progressive side. But we need to basically pay attention to stories like this. Pay attention to the stories that are going to keep information from us, that are going to keep perspectives from us, that are going to suppress voices, because someday it'll be your voices suppressed. You might not be using it on a platform like this, but you're talking to people, and you're posting to Facebook, and you're eating sandwiches, and you're taking photos of them, and that voice could be silenced too. Basically, we're all communicating on just a few platforms these days, and that's going to be really easy to control. So we need to keep up on this, and we need to keep it in mind. We've got a year and a half to the next election, and we need to get there, and we need to basically talk to our friends, make people aware, use our voices, pay attention to what's going on. We need to support candidates. We need to support progressive candidates. We need to, I hope we primary some of the do-nothing Democrats out there. And I hope that either some of them, in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, either start taking their job seriously or think about retiring, and we get progressive people in here that will actually fight for us. So if this mattered to you, I'm going to wrap it up here. If this mattered to you, it would mean the world to me if you would like and comment and subscribe. Start a conversation with me. If you didn't like it, go ahead and subscribe, because I love to fight. I will argue with you till the cow. No, I got better things to do. I'll respond once with a appropriately pithy comment. But I do love to fight. But I really want to hear from you. I really want to hear your thoughts. I really want you to subscribe. This is only my second video, but I really want to build a community. And I just also want to say that I am doing this in part because of the fact that I'm a disabled video game professional. I've been laid off for more than a year and a half, and I am running out of money. I've got a good GoFundMe going on, and I'm going to be posting videos like all the time to support it, to build a community, to hopefully build supporters and be able to pay my mortgage, which I'm not able to at the moment without your help. But I hope you'll check out the GoFundMe, share this video, share the GoFundMe. If you can, donate it, share it, and we'll keep talking. We'll keep building. We'll keep building consensus on the things that matter. And I will see you on the next one, which I hope will be tomorrow or in a few days. Stay strong. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I don't love you yet because you're not here, but as soon as you are here, I will love you. I'll see you later. Bye.